Gavin Newsom wants you to believe he grew up poor. His mother worked 4 jobs, they rented out their bedroom to make ends meet, but in the very same interview, he accidentally revealed the truth about his real background. Watch.
She was a waitress there forever. She was a paralegal. She just hustled. She made ends meet. We always had roommates, people that just showed up because she lived in the living room and took her bedroom because we had to rent it out to make ends meet. And in living that example, and then on the flip side, spending time overseas on private planes and yachts with the Getty family.
So Gavin Newsom sat down for an interview and decided to tell his origin story. And he did what politicians always do. He started from the bottom. Hard-working mother, barely making ends meet, roommates in a small apartment. Classic, relatable setup. But the problem is that Gavin Newsom is not from the bottom. He's the product of one of the wealthiest families in California. His father worked directly for the Getty family, as in Gordon Getty, the billionaire oil heir. Newsom appeared in the San Francisco Chronicle in 1991 in a feature literally titled Children of the Rich, posing alongside the Getty kids. And his high school yearbook, he was voted most stylish. So this is not a man who grew up struggling, but let's watch how confidently he tells you otherwise. Welcome back, my body language buddies. My name is Jesus Enrique Rosas. I'm the body language guy, and today we are watching Gavin Newsom contradict himself in real time. Now watch this first clip. Pay attention to his body language, specifically how comfortable he is telling this story.
I discovered what hard work and grit really look like in the face of my mom. And I never knew what she was struggling with. 4 jobs. I'm development director for aid to adoption of special kids with developmental disabilities. Ramona's restaurant, that's how I got in the restaurant business. She was a waitress there forever. She was a paralegal. She just hustled. She made ends meet. We always had roommates, people that just showed up because she lived in the living room and took her bedroom because we had to rent it out to make ends meet.
Notice how animated he is. Gavin Newsom has always been charismatic, and it's on full display here. He's using illustrator gestures painted a picture for the audience. When he talks about his mother renting out her bedroom, he hunches in, his shoulders come forward, his body compresses. That's what we had to do. We did what we had to do to make ends meet. He's performing struggle. And here's what's important. He's completely relaxed. He has this typical European leg cross, one knee right on top of the other. His breathing is even. There's no tension in his face, no anxiety markers. He's telling a story he's told 100 times, and he's confident in it. Now, I am not saying that his mother didn't work hard. She probably did. But the way Newsom frames it, as if that was his entire reality, is where the performance falls apart. Because he leaves out a very important detail, and it comes just seconds later. Watch.
And in living that example, and then on the flip side, spending time overseas on private planes and yachts with the Getty family.
There it is. On the flip side, he says it so casually. Private planes, yachts, the Getty family. Yeah, one of the wealthiest dynasties in American history. And notice his body language doesn't change. Same relaxed posture, same European leg cross, same tone of voice. He does not register the contradiction. Renting out a bedroom one moment, yachts with the billionaires the next. Okay. But here's where Newsom tries the most absurd reframe I've ever heard. Because when the conversation turns to his father, watch what words he chooses. This is pure statement analysis.
My father, wonderful man, came deeply back in my life. I don't want to paint a negative picture of him. Came deeply back in my life the older I got. But he had some relationships and friendships that took him in a completely different direction with tremendous wealth and privilege. He didn't enjoy the wealth, but he enjoyed the proximity to it and the privileges that came with it.
He didn't enjoy the wealth, but he enjoyed the proximity to it and the privileges that came with it. Okay, go through that sentence again. That is pure word salad. What does that even mean? He didn't enjoy the wealth, but he just enjoyed being close to the wealth and the privileges that came from the wealth? That is actually enjoying the wealth, man. Yeah, he just said the same thing twice, except the first time he denied it. This is one of the most absurd statements I've heard from a politician, and that is a very high bar to clear. This is a classic distancing tactic. Newsom wants to present his father as down-to-earth, as someone who was surrounded by extreme privilege, but somehow wasn't part of it. It's a relatability strategy. My dad wasn't one of them. He just worked for them. Yeah, but the effect is the opposite. When you have to explain that your father didn't enjoy the wealth of the billionaire family he worked for, you have already lost the "I grew up poor" argument. And notice his body language again, the same composure, same leg cross, same easy storytelling cadence. He doesn't flinch because he genuinely believes this framing works. But the facts tell a different story. Because his father worked for the Getty family. Gordon Getty, the billionaire heir, was a lifelong friend of his father, and that connection is what made everything possible for Gavin Newsom. Because watch what Newsom says next about building his career from nothing.
And at a relatively young age, I was 26 years old, I'd opened my first business and grown it to a few little restaurants. And again, this young man in a hurry, sort of moving up. I was starting to get active in local government.
A few little restaurants. He says it's like he bootstrapped a taco stand. But here's what actually happened. Newsom's first business was Plump Jack, a wine shop in San Francisco. You know who the lead investor was? Gordon Getty himself. Getty put in the seed money and then became the lead investor in 10 out of Newsom's first 11 businesses. 10 out of 11. So the company was even named after an opera written by Gordon Getty. And Newsom's business partner was Billy Getty, Gordon's son, who had been Newsom's friend since childhood. So this is not a self-made man opening a few little restaurants. This is a man whose entire career was funded by a billionaire family friend. Notice the broad gestures when he says, "This young man in a hurry, sort of moving up," is narrating his own mythology. And his body is completely open, completely relaxed, because he has told this version so many times that he believes it. And that's what makes Gavin Newsom's body language so fascinating and so frustrating. He is not nervous. He is not fidgeting. He's not showing any of the classic deception signals because he is not lying in his own mind. He genuinely believes that growing up with a hardworking mother and spending weekends on Getty yachts makes him relatable. That contradiction doesn't register. And once you learn to spot that kind of blind spot, someone whose body is perfectly calm while their story makes no sense, you will see it everywhere.
Macaroni and cheese.
Yeah, man, bro.
Yeah.
Are you talking about me?
Yo, YG.
YG,
But
man.
every day in the backyard, just bouncing the basketball.
Oh, and by the way, yeah, that was Newsom on another podcast telling a black host that he was a mac and cheese kid. Of course he was. Let me know what you think about this in the comments. My name is Jesus Enrique Rosas. I'm the body language guy. Much love and bliss.